Hi everybody, this is Tom. I'm going to share with you a little bit of my first ever custom binding of comic books done by Houchen Bindery, as you can see. And I wanted to give you some background. This is the first time I've ever done it, and so I was doing my best as far as coming up with some custom covers and the like. But really, the big thing for me was trying to just understand the experience of working with Houchen. Um, to give you some background, I sent my initial pack of comics back on March 9th, and it took them 4 months, basically a little longer than 4 months, July 18th, before they sent me dimensions for which to make my custom covers. I got that turned around very quickly. I pretty much had them all ready to go. I just had to tweak it. And they sent me a final invoice on August 16th, and on August 19th, I received it in FedEx. So I paid immediately upon receiving the invoice. So to give you just a big overall picture, it took just a touch over 5 months for this all to happen, and I think that's good for people to know. Houchen is clearly not a big shop. They are doing some really specialty work, but they are not as tech savvy, I guess you would say, as many other providers of things like custom printed comics, or even some of the big retailers as it relates to buying back issues or the like, or your in stock trades or your DCBS or any of those. This is a small shop, and their communication could be a little better, but if you go in understanding what you've got on your hands, it's a lot easier to go through all of it. So anyway, the books themselves. I was going to do a full unboxing right in front of you all, but I ended up having to wait a while before I could do the video. So I wanted to just take a look and sneak peek, and what can I say? This is like Christmas. So opening it up, this is exactly how it looked as I opened it. You can see they packed it reasonably well. They've got some paper, they've got some bubble wrap type stuff, some inflatable pack. This is a cover of a algebra book to protect as well. And then the books themselves. So you can see they use leftover packing and those types of things. We'll start with the first book, and this is the Johnny Quest series. You can see I've got it as a volume 1 because there is a second volume. I made the spine up. I basically, for the cover on this one, I like the Doug Wildey issue 1 cover, and so I just did that in its entirety. William Messner Loebs signed my copy at a convention. You can see, actually it's right there. There's his signature. This is the order form. I'll take that out. You can see it is a kind of hard to tell from here. This is a stitch bound book, so those are individual comics there. I did have some nice taping put at the end, and then on the back I did the 21 covers that I had for this particular issue. I love all the covers. I think they're just awesome. You've got Bill Sienkiewicz here. You've got Dave Stevens, of course, Wildey. I believe, is that Steve Rude? I think that's Steve Rude. And so there's some really great covers, and I wanted to give them their due. And so I used that on the book itself. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. It's gonna feel great in my hands. It does feel great in my hands. It's gonna feel great on my lap, and I look forward to rereading Johnny Quest. And that's the old Kimiko series. Okay, jumping over to this side. I have been enamored with the Blade Runner series by Titan Comics, and so I love the work by Andres Guinaldo, and so this is his cover for, I believe, the first issue. And I did a very simple Blade Runner logo at the top. I used their text, their font, and of course Titan at the bottom. And then I just put the 12 books of the 2019 series. They are broken up into 3 sub books, and then there was a free comic book day piece that I put in there. Again, it was stitched, so you can see the individual comics right there. It's a really nice, clean book. And then I did a complimentary book for 2029, and again, Guinaldo's art. This time, I thought it would be cool to put one of the spinners on the front. And you can see it's identical, so my books are going to look great on the shelf next to each other. It's going to be really sharp. And okay, 2029. Again, 4 covers per book. You can see how that all turned out. This actually, I'm looking at it, these are the A covers, and this spinner looks like it was a variant cover that I did not buy because I don't see it on there. But anyway, and did the same go for this? Why, that is the case. This is a variant as well. So I'm lucky that I was able to put those on. Okay. Next, Atari Force. Atari Force I did entirely in 1 volume. Found a really cool star pattern nebula, actually, from I believe it was NASA that I found this from. I used the Atari Force logo, and you can't see it super well in the video. It's a little pixelated. It's not the best. I wish I could have found something better. But the cover piece that I used looks really good. And I had to clean that up quite a bit. This is the Atari logo, of course. I thought that would be fun to put on there. And then you've got the DC down at the bottom. And yeah, the Atari Force logo here still looks pixelated, which is a bit of a bummer. You can see what I used for that first, for that cover, how I had to clear everything else off, and I switched to the star pattern. I do like how that turned out, where you've got the nebula running all the way across the book. But anyway, these are all the covers of that series, and I do have the entire run in there, also done in stitch binding, so you can again see the piece. This is an older series. I bought it as an entire run, bought it cheap, so I just gave them the entire books. So you're going to see a lot of ads and letters to the editor and stuff like that, but it looks like everything is clean. The edges of the page sometimes get a little tight, but everything looks good. No gutter loss down the middle, and they're nice, clean copies of the book. So a great series. Very excited there. And then, hey, how about number 2 of Johnny Quest? This was a Hempel and Wheatley cover, issue 24. And you can see I use a Johnny Quest picture there. Same logo, same number, the Kamiko there. And you can see I've got all the covers as well. And yes, there was a blank cover. I also threw in on this one, I put the 3 classics, because we only had 10 issues left in the run. I put in the 3 classics, the 2 specials, and then there was a mini series for Jezebel Jade. So we've got all those in there. And again, you can see these are just really clean looking books. The trimming is just gorgeous. It's just fantastic. I'm really excited about this. And got to pull that out. So you can see Johnny Quest. Next, I'm going to save that one for last. Let's do this one, and that's volume 2, so let's do volume 1. I wanted to bind up Scott McCloud's Zot, and in Photoshop I blew up the Zot logo itself a little bit, just to go a little bit off the cover, but you can see this is a reproduction of number 1. Try to do a little bit of like a spine tape type look there. You can see number one, the Eclipse Comics logo. The Zot logo is clean as a whistle. I love that. And you can see I put the covers there with a little bit of a blurb that was from a New York Daily News article. This is a mini comic that was done for Zot. I've got a couple copies of that, and so what I'm going to do is find like an envelope or something that I can put it in right here in the front, so that I'll be able to have that for time eternal, and keep it with the collection. But I think that turned out really nice. And I like the yellow because it kind of has the yellow and red being the Zot colors. This is the final issue cover. So this is the back half. This time I used Jenny up in the top, and of course the two in the Eclipse. And you can see I just wrapped it up, and I found a good Comics Journal review that I was able to do as well. I thought that was nice, but you can see these books are just great. This one apparently was cut a little short by Eclipse. It was a little short down here, but everything else just looks wonderful. And they did go from color to black and white over time, but it's a great series, and I'm really glad to have it. Okay, then it comes to my last one, and this one is different on a number of levels. It was my last choice to make a book of. It was my last cover that I designed, and also it was a collection of 2 graphic novels, and that was Alan Moore's run on Supreme. And I did a marble background here. I did a really neat kind of majestic etched look, and I didn't really care for any of the company logo stuff, so I just kept it to Supreme and the names of the creators. And these are Chris Sprouse illustrations. I found them online and reprinted them for the cover. I had seen on a famous website the idea of making reproductions of these incredible original art pieces, not just by Sprouse, but by a number of artists. And some people were making their own absolute editions and artisan editions and the like. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it just for this cover so that I could have some really nice artwork on the front and back. I think Sprouse is incredible. In fact, I've got a Sprouse illustration of Tom Strong right up there. It's about 5 feet away from me, and I love it. I note that Sprouse signed this. This is the checker combination, and I used checker. That's the slip as well. I used the checker books because honestly, it's just too hard for me to find all of the Supreme books at a reasonable price, and I was able to get these two graphic novels at a very reasonable price. The second one, however, was, I believe, a library copy, and so you can see they cleaned it up so you wouldn't know better. There's no library indication on any of the sides, and this was, because it was a graphic novel, these are not individually sewn in. This is simple glue, and so as opposed to everything else, you really do have to look at the possibility of gutter loss, and honestly, there's not a lot there. I can still see the edge of the pictures, the edge of the panels. I am not missing much, and I certainly hope that this glue holds as well over time, because right now, if you look at the spine, it is holding up like a champ. This is fantastic, and so yeah, I'm really happy to have Supreme all together in one nice looking book. I know, call me crazy, I'm not a giant Alex Ross fan, and Alex Ross did the covers for the graphic novels here. I didn't care for him that much, so I actually asked the folks at Houchen to just trash that, keep my covers, keep the pages in here. So I've got the stuff that I want, and I think it looks beautiful. Very excited. So that's it. That's my combination of stories or books and a little bit about them. I hope you enjoyed, and perhaps maybe I'll do these in the future. I guess I probably will go for maybe one batch a year just because it takes so long, and they are a little bit expensive when you start packing them in like that, because that's 8 different books that I had rebound. So over time, I think I'll probably try to do a few more. I've got a set of Howard Chaykin's American Flag books that I want to do, and also I've got a quirky old series from the 80s called The Trouble with Girls, and I think those will probably be my next ones. But anyway, so Johnny Quest, Blade Runner, Atari Force, Zot, and Supreme. Not bad. Hope you enjoyed. Leave any questions you've got below, and have a great day.